And welcome to Observing with Webb, the video edition for February of 2014. What I'm going to talk about is what you can see in the night sky. It's really just planets and constellations this month, along with the moon. But here we go. I'm going to try to cram this in less than 10 minutes. So, turn that on. Here's what we got. As far as planets, as far as what we can see, let's look at February 1st. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's go with February 14th, Valentine's Day, and also the middle day. Sunset is going to be around 5:39. And if we look at sunset, we can see that Jupiter is already up over in the east. Okay? And if we let time pass by until it gets dark, you will see Jupiter is up over here. Okay? And that's going to be up for a while. Okay? That's going to be up most of the night. And pretty much every night for February. It's going to be up, and then it's going to travel toward the south. Yeah, see it traveling. And then eventually, after midnight, it's going to be setting. And by about, 4 a.m., Jupiter is going to be gone. So if you really want to see Jupiter, get out before 3 a.m. and take a look. So Jupiter is going to be our sunset planet for the month. Sunset and throughout the night. Now, there are some other planets that start popping up as well. In fact, if you get out, let's say after 5 a.m., you can actually see Mars, Saturn, and Venus all out after 5 a.m. So what happens in this case, in February, let's go backwards a little bit, okay? What's going to happen is if you want to see Mars, you're going to have to get out after 11 p.m. And at around 11 p.m. is when Mars is going to rise out of the east and keep on rising and moving toward the south. And then around 1 a.m. is when Saturn's going to rise and also rise up with Mars and move toward the south. And of course, the later you wait, the better you can see it because there's less air to look through and such. For Saturn, I suggest taking out your binoculars or your telescope and finding the rings or what Galileo thought of as ears. And if you wait a little bit longer, at least 5 a.m., you can see Venus. Now, the great thing about Venus is that you can see Venus even in the dawn sky because it's so darn bright. And also for you guys with telescopes, and girls with telescopes, you can see Venus's crescent phase most of the month. And it's pretty big in your telescope because it's close to us right now. And so really, those are the planets. You've got Jupiter throughout the night, and you've got Mars, Saturn, and Venus in the morning. Now, sometimes you don't know what you're looking at, so you might need the moon as a guide. And that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this, is I'm going to use the moon as our guide. Now, there is no new moon, because the new moon is technically on January 31st, I believe. But if I go to February 1st, and I go to sunset, you'll see the moon is over here in the west. And then the next day, it's up higher and a little bit thicker. Next day, higher and higher and thicker until February 6th, where it's almost directly in the south. You can see it's about half lit. That's the first quarter moon. That is on the 6th. So it's visible basically from sunset until midnight. So there's the moon, and what's going to happen is each day it's going to go a little bit further away from the sun and more toward the east if you're looking at sunset, and it's going to get close to Jupiter. It's going to get the closest to Jupiter on the 10th, and on the 10th, Jupiter's going to be over here, and let's see if this works. It doesn't feel like working, giving me the degrees, but it's about 6 degrees to the left of the moon. And if you're looking later at night, you will also notice that Jupiter winds up being above the moon later in the night. So as we know, each night the moon gets a little bit thicker and a little bit thicker until the 14th, Valentine's Day, you've got a full moon. And with this full moon, it's rising in the east when the sun is setting in the west, and they're 180 degrees apart from each other. Now, This is currently set at 9:30. Now, if we let the night go by, and keep going, Mars is going to rise. So then we start thinking, well, when will the moon be close to Mars? Well, let's fast forward a couple days, and on the morning of the 19th and the 20th, Mars is actually near the moon. In fact, let's zoom in a little bit. The 19th, the moon's a little bit above it. 20th, the moon's a little bit below it. So if you want to find Mars, 19th or the 20th, the morning of those, are a good time to see it. And then if we let the night go by again, we see Saturn starting to rise. Well, when will the moon hit Saturn? Well, almost hit Saturn. Ooh, look at that. Between the 21st and the 22nd is when Saturn is close to the moon. So if you want to find Saturn, use the moon as your guide on the 21st or 22nd. Now, actually, if you are in Madagascar, Australia, or New Zealand, you can actually see Saturn get occulted by the moon, which is really cool. People actually time this, and they will actually basically take data on when it disappears and when it reappears, which is really cool. But anyway, now the moon right now is in its third quarter phase, which is technically, on the 22nd. And you'll notice that you have to see it in the morning. Around 4:30 in the morning, you'd be able to see it. And then, there's that other bright planet that we like to see, Venus. When will the moon get close to Venus? Looks like, that's pretty good, the 26th. On the 26th of February, the moon, a very thin crescent moon, will be here, and Venus will be off to the right a little bit. And I think this is a little more realistic view of it. The moon will be a very thin crescent. Venus will be up here. That's really it for the events of the month. But if you want to talk about constellations in February, let's go to the 14th. Appropriate day to look at the stars. Okay, and let's look at the zenith. Okay, what can we see at the zenith, which is this little point, this little red thing over here, the zenith, right in the middle. If you look straight up, and let's say it's sunset. Actually, let's go a little bit forward in time. Let's say 7 o'clock when it's dark. You'll be able to see Taurus, and Auriga up by the zenith. If you wait a couple more hours, let's say, let's go midnight. Around midnight, you'll see Cancer, and if you have a telescope, the Beehive cluster is really cool to look at. Leo is also there, and that'll be up there later in the month as well. But let's say you wait till sunrise. Click on sunrise. Let's go back a little bit. You can see Booties right there, the kite or the ice cream cone or the shepherd, I believe it is. But yeah, that's what you can see. And I think I'm going to reserve any other constellation stuff for other people to explain. Or my favorite is to go find a sky map, just a piece of paper, take it outside. Skymaps.com is the one that I like to use. And so happy February observing. Hopefully the polar vortex doesn't leave you out there with frostbite. But I'd like to wish you all very clear, dark skies for the month of February.